Hey everyone, Selena here, founder, host, lead educator with the American Crochet Association. I'm also the writer behind Selena Baca Crochet. And I've got something new and different that I'm doing, and I just wanted to share it with the crochet community. So if you are watching, come on over, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from. The topic I have at hand today is Crochet Help Sessions. This is something that I've been doing recently in my local yarn shops. It's an idea that I've had for quite some time, and I'm finally now kind of putting it together in a fairly organized way. I've had a few sessions and I just wanted to share some things. So I do have all of the tips that I am going to share today in the video description. So after you watch this, click on over because I do have some really helpful resources to share. And if you guys have any questions about what it means to teach crochet, what it means to have a crochet help session, you can go ahead and throw them in the comments as soon as you have the questions. But I will leave a little space at the end of my spiel here to kind of have a little bit of an open floor Q&A session. So at the American Crochet Association, we do have a lengthy, extensive, gives you everything you need to know, plus a certificate to show that you know it, Crochet Instructor Training program. Link is in the video description. I'll tell you guys all about it in just a minute. So that particular community of people who have gone through our Crochet Instructor Training program, I always have an open door policy that they can ask questions anytime. To help with any aspect of what it means to teach crochet. And I have to say, one of the top questions I get is, okay, I have the knowledge, I have the skill, I have the ability. How can I make sure that I'm finding students? How can I kind of keep that door open? Where do I teach? And we do have a lot of conversations about that. And I think something that works really well, and I think something that really brings crochet to the community is to work with your local yarn shops. Now, that can mean a few different things, but the local yarn shops that I'm specifically talking about are those mom and pop local yarn stores, not the big box stores. Although if you can forge some kind of relationship with them locally, that would be fantastic. But I actually have 2 local yarn shops here in my town, and I think I have others in other surrounding towns. I have other opportunities, but within a 15-minute drive, I've got 2 of them. And those 2 shops have been amazing in allowing me to help test out these crochet help sessions. So again, specifically, these tips are for people, I think this is going to work best for people who have some kind of knowledge and skill and ability in what it means to teach crochet, just because there's a lot that goes into that. So this is I'm specifically talking to people who have gone through that crochet instructor training program that we have here at the ACA. However, if you're someone that knows how to crochet and you just want to bring it to your community, I think a crochet help session can either help you define what you want to do. It can help spread the news that someone is in the community that wants to spread crochet. Or if you're not quite sure how, do I want to teach? Do I want to teach individually? Do I want to teach workshops? It can kind of open the door to that realm to get you more comfortable for what it means to either teach crochet, give workshops, or to have crochet help sessions. So here it is. I'm going to go through the very first point. And I think that this is a helpful point to get everybody on board, right? And this is something that I feel like I'm still kind of going through, and we're still gaining a little bit of momentum. And that's create some kind of memorable schedule. Not only for you, not only for the shop owner, but for the crochet community as a whole. Now, what I like about the idea of having a crochet help session is that my idea is that it's something that is hosted in a local yarn store. So people who love yarn are already kind of coming in the door. They're already buying and shopping, and they want to be there. People want to be in their local yarn shops more so. So I think that having some kind of event that is regularly scheduled, whatever that means, something that's memorable, something that it's like, oh, every Thursday from 1 to 3, that's mine. Crochet help sessions at, my local yarn shop, every Friday from 1 to 3, every Sunday from 3 to 5, whatever works for you. Maybe it's once a week, maybe it's a few times a week, maybe it's once a month, some kind of schedule that you can commit to, that your local yarn shop can allow you to participate in, and that the community can remember and go, oh, it's Sunday and it's 2 and I didn't know what I was going to do today, but I'm going to go to the local yarn shop because they have a crochet help session. So create that memorable session, create that memorable schedule, work with your local yarn shop, and make sure it's something that you can commit to because you want people to remember it and come in the door. All right, before I move on, I see quite a few of you guys are here, so I just want to give some shout outs to Angelica. Good morning. I know I'm usually never here in the morning, but I was so excited, had such a great day yesterday, had such a fantastic crochet help session that I just moved this little video up on my schedule of things I was going to do. So I'm really happy to be here. Dawn Tennyson says, Burr, -15 tier. My friend, you need to stay inside and under a crochet blanket. Do not freeze. Don't do it. So good to see you. Dawn Tennyson says, my shop is over an hour away. I know that I'm super fortunate in that I have 2 local yarn shops in my area. So fortunate. I know that not everyone has a local yarn shop. I think that the tips that I'm sharing here today are going to really work beautifully and work best with a local yarn shop. And this is something that I share in my Crochet Instructor Training program. And it's something that we discuss a lot. There are so many other areas that want to create a community space. And again, every single one of them is different, but I think that there are other spaces maybe in your community that maybe you don't have a local yarn shop. Maybe you have a fabric store, any kind of craft store, library, sometimes even cafes, little coffee shops, stuff like that, bookstores. So I think that there are plenty other spaces in the community that you can kind of get creative with and see, do they have a space where people can gather comfortably? And if so, would crochet work good in this area? So again, I keep saying local yarn shop because I think that's the best scenario, but I think that there are so many other kinds of community venues that could work in this. So I think it just takes a little bit of creativity. My friend Kim Shaw is here. So good to see you. Kim Shaw says, I need to take the course. I would love to see you in the course. If you guys have any questions about it, just let me know. But I do have a link to the course and everything that it is in the video description. So you can click on over and check that out. Okay, so my first tip is create some kind of memorable schedule, right? What can you commit to? How often can you do it? I can personally commit to every single week, but I'm only committing to every week for 2 months. So for 2 months, every single week, I'm going to go to my local yarn shop. And then after that 2 months, we're going to see, hey, how did Thursdays from 1 to 3 work out? Did that work out? Should we change the day? Should we change the time? Is it great? Is it really picking up momentum? Should we keep doing it? Fantastic. So I committed to 2 months. Those days were just really kind of, spreading the word about it. And one of the best ways I can spread the word about it is to create events. Now, if you are a person who wants to kind of do any kind of thing in crochet professionally, whatever that means, even if it's just crochet help sessions in your local yarn shop, my personal opinion is that you need a page, you need a platform for that business, not your personal. Don't do it with your personal. Great problem is you blow up in the world of crochet, and a personal page just is not going to cut it. So even if you have 0 followers, 0 people, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing with my crochet life. If you're going to start doing anything professionally again, Crochet Help Sessions, it's dipping your toes in that professional realm, have some kind of platform for your business, okay? Now, something you can start with is just posting or having social media events for this Crochet Help Session. Now, the reason I like this is, as you can see right here are all of those Crochet Help Sessions that I said I was going to do with my local yarn shop. We committed to 2 months. This is just one way we're helping to promote this. I personally like Facebook. I think it's fantastic for local events, for local groups, for connecting with people, a whole bunch of other stuff. Do I like Facebook for other things? Nope, it's not amazing and fantastic for everything. But I think in terms of having like a business social presence, I think it works pretty good. So the thing that I did was I created an event for every single help session that I'm going to have. And that way it's clearly recognizable in terms of the date, the time, and the venue. So I have my local yarn shop tagged as the co-host, And that way the events come up on my page and the events come up on their page, and both of our audiences can see all of these events. What I like about creating events on social media is that people, like, it will show up as an event in the local area. So even if nobody's following your page or the local yarn shop page, they'll see that there are events in the area. And maybe they didn't even know that there was a local yarn shop, or maybe they didn't know their bookstore had Crochet Help Sessions, something like that. It's something that's going to come up in social media. That's one of those kind of algorithmy things that I think is really fantastic about social media, is that we can find out so much more about events if they're posted as events. So I think that that's a really important thing. People can also ask questions. They can mark themselves as attending or interested, and that's just one more marker for them to get a notification about the things that you're doing in the crochet world. All right, let me pause before I move on to my next tip. So far, I've only shared 2. Let's see who else is here. It looks like Stacy is here from blizzardy North Iowa. My friend, stay warm and safe. Amanda Woodbury is here. So good to see you. Amanda says, I need to reach out to my local yarn shop. They are 45 minutes away, so weekly might be hard. Yeah, and that's why I'm not saying do this many times in this way. You have to come up with something that works well for you. So in Amanda's case, and I know someone else mentioned as well, that they're like, I don't have a local yarn shop in my area. It's like an hour away or 45 minutes away. I mean, possibly you meet once a quarter, you meet once a month, maybe it's a larger event. And by larger, I just mean maybe you go for an afternoon. Whatever works for you, whatever gets your name and your expertise and your skill and your ability out into the local and local adjacent world of crochet. I think whatever works for you, try it out. And Roseanne is here saying good morning to everyone. So good to see you here, Roseanne. Thanks for checking in. All right, guys. So I have shared 2 tips so far. Create a memorable schedule. Step 2, or tip 2, I guess is what we're doing it. Create social media events. I gave you guys a lot. I dumped a lot of information in there. So if you guys have any questions about anything that I shared so far, just let me know. Okay, tip number 3, and again, this is just based on my knowledge and expertise, and, I have done quite a few crochet events, and this is something that I think works well. I think it's one of those things that really kind of like shares your expertise, your knowledge, your skill, your ability. It tells people, hey, talk to me about crochet in a way that, like, it's a sign without being a sign. Like, tell me you love crochet and you can teach me without telling me you love crochet and teach me. Kind of like that. So anyway, wear or bring something crochet. For me, it's this hat. Like currently, right now, if I want you to know that I crochet and I want you to ask me about crochet, like right now in this present time in my life, I'm just wearing this hat. I'm wearing it all day, every day, everywhere I go. So in my crochet help sessions, this is the hat that I'm wearing because it's crochet. Because I can talk about crochet, because people will ask me about crochet. If you don't have something to wear, or if it's the middle of summer and you're like, it's summer, I'm not wearing a crochet hat, bring something else crochet related that people can look at, something that maybe you've made, something that just kind of brings people to you in a way that they can ask questions, right? Instead of just like a sign that says, ask me anything about crochet. I think sometimes when people just see something that's crocheted, they're going to naturally think of things to ask you or naturally want to talk to you about crochet. So hopefully that helps as well. All right. Okay. My 4th tip, and I think this is one of the ones that has helped me the most. I think this is one of the most crucial tips. Okay. And I do have a link to what I want to tell you guys about. Bring a crochet resource that is going to help you talk about all things fundamental in crochet. For me, it's my book. I wrote this, shameless shout out. I wrote it for this reason. Learn to crochet in 10 easy lessons. So I had a crochet help session yesterday. I brought this book and it was my number 1 resource as I was helping with crochet. Any crochet question that people had, if somebody wanted to know how to do something or how something worked, or just, any kind of basic stitch or technique or element of crochet, this book was my resource. So my recommendation to you is you might want to get this book. I think it's a good resource, but I think, I don't think that there's anything even parallel to it I dare say, because it just gives so much, this was the one resource that I could point to help people. So what I mean by that is, and let's kind of backtrack a little bit, story time. I'm going to take you guys on kind of a longer journey here. So bear with me, but definitely ask questions if you have any. The difference between I'm going to teach you to crochet, I'm going to give you a project or technique specific workshop, I'm going to talk to you about crochet, or I'm going to give you a crochet help session. The difference between all of these is who's in charge of the information. That's the way I like to look at it. So if I'm going to teach you to crochet, I'm going to have a pattern and a project for you that I am so aware of and I am so in tuned with that I'm going to circumvent any questions or issues that you may have. We're going to be ahead of that. Same thing with if I'm teaching you a workshop, either to do a project or to learn a technique, I'm going to know it frontwards, backwards, and every side. And that way we're going to circumvent. We're going to jump over any hurdles that you might have had. Now with Crochet Help Sessions, and I knew this, and that's why I brought a resource, with a Crochet Help Session, you're inviting anyone to come in with any question that they have about crochet. And so most of the help session, if someone comes in and they're just like, hey, I have this pattern and I don't understand this line right here, you're having to backtrack a lot. What is this pattern? What is it telling you to do? What is this line of instruction? And I don't know how to say this in a nice way, but one of my Crochet Help Sessions students came in yesterday and they came in with a book that was learned to crochet by a very big name company that makes things that are not crochet patterns. And these were all supposed to be beginner patterns, and they were written really, 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 really overly complicated. So overly complicated that it was like, this is a beginner pattern because we say so. And then the instructions were like, even I was like, okay, wait, it says this, so we have to go back here. We have to read this, but it only says to do that from here to here. So we have to do it from here to there. But then and then it's, oh my goodness. It was so interestingly worded that my Crochet Help Session student had already gone to another Crochet Help Session somewhere else. And that person wrote out a stitch diagram for them, but the instructions were so interesting that the stitch diagram didn't even match the instructions. So it was like, this student was like, hey, how do I follow this? And I'm like, it just has to be rewritten. Like just the whole, like I can see the pattern. I can look at the stitches. I know exactly what they're doing, but the way it's written is really, I don't know if I can teach you how to follow this pattern. Like I could, but that's not the lesson you're coming here for. So really what that lesson turned into was, okay, let's backtrack. You want to make a scarf that looks like this, right? That's what you're interested in. So really this scarf with a 2-row repeat that we spent 15 minutes on, I was like, let's backtrack just a minute. You just want to make a scarf and you want it to look like this, and you just want to crochet something that you love, and you just want to know that you're following a pattern correctly, right? Okay, let's put this aside, this learn to crochet resource. Let's put that aside. Instead, I pulled out my Learn to Crochet book. And in my Learn to Crochet book, I have a washcloth pattern that teaches a stitch that's almost identical to the stitch that they wanted to learn in this scarf, right? And I was like, okay, let's open the page to this washcloth, right? I know it says washcloth, but the reason I made this is that it's teaching you lots of different skills. It's teaching you how to read written instructions. There's also a stitch diagram, so we can clearly see what the stitches should look like as we're following the written instructions. And we have a close-up of the pattern. So now you have 3 references in terms of exactly what this looks like and exactly how to follow the pattern. Is this something you'd like to do? Like, I know you said you wanted to do this scarf and that's what you came in with, but would this be an okay substitute? Yeah, sure. Looks almost exactly the same. It's doing the same thing. Great. Okay. And then she actually really didn't have any questions at all. The only question she had from there was, okay, wait, when I'm working into a chain and I'm following this stitch repeat, how do I, like, she was really just having questions about stitch identification and anatomy, to where I really was teaching her a lot. I really did give her a lot of tips that maybe she might have struggled at home without this book. But anyway, I loved that I had this particular book, because in that particular situation, my student just was really, hey, I'm trying to teach myself crochet. I just want to make a scarf. Like, is it me? How come I can't read this? To where I was finally like, you know what? It's not you. I can clearly see you know what you're doing. You know the stitches. You know the basics. You know how to hold your work. You can read and follow a pattern. It's just that this one is unnecessarily complicated. So I gave them this resource. They did walk away with a scarf and instructions to work something up that they were comfortable and confident with. There were probably 30 other questions that I got about crochet that I was able to reference this book and help people with. So when I say bring crochet resources, you never know what's going to come in the door. You never know what kind of pattern people are going to bring in. Somebody might come in with half of a sweater and they're like, you know, it says to join, but I don't really understand what that means. So maybe you can really help them through whatever aspect of the pattern that they have. But I feel like a lot of beginners are going to come in, or a lot of people who are new to crochet or new to techniques or new to basics, and they just want to understand something, and you really want to show them how they can work through something in a way that makes them feel like they are progressing. So that was a long story. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys understand why I created this reference material and why I'm referencing this reference material now. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. All right, it looks like Deborah is here, says hello from cold Southeast Kentucky. All stores, etc., are 2 hours away. Let me know what you think about the other community spaces that I shared. Let me know. Let me know if you can creatively think of other places that maybe you could teach. Also, community halls. I mean, I actually, just in my area, there are quite a few halls here, or rooms or spaces to where you can like rent a space. So I think that creatively speaking, like if you don't have a local yarn shop, I think that there are other options you could come up with. Amanda Woodbury says, what type of projects to teach a group would you recommend? What type of projects in terms of having like group workshop sessions? So currently what I am suggesting people do, if you already have gone through our Crochet Instructor Training program and you have all of the patterns and the tools and the resources from that program, that's everything that you need to teach a person how to crochet, from I've never touched a hook all the way up to, okay, I don't need you anymore. I can read and follow crochet patterns up to and probably beyond like the intermediate level, because you've taught me that. So I think what Amanda's saying is that once someone has moved on past the beginner lesson, those one-on-one or 1-to-2 ratio sessions, like, okay, I'm ready to work on I want to make my first sweater. I want to do something like that, right? So if you want to teach group workshops, what I'm currently suggesting is to utilize the teaching steps and the patterns that we have at our skill building workshop. There are specifically skill building patterns in there that you can teach in a workshop setting. And because they're all my patterns that I've written for the American Crochet Association, they are acceptable to use on a small scale for in-person teaching. So you really can't take other people's patterns and teach them online or start a YouTube channel. You can't do that. And you can't take other people's patterns and then show up to a big giant convention and say, I'm going to teach this pattern that's not mine, because what if that pattern writer shows up to that same convention? So anyway, there are definite things that you can and cannot do with published work, including crochet patterns. So you really have to be careful about what you use as teaching tools. And again, a lot of these things, a lot of published pattern work specifically, a lot of things that are published are for single individual use, not for commercial use, and particularly not for large scale commercial use. So I'm going to suggest that you definitely stick with resources at the American Crochet Association. And if you have any questions, comments, feedback, you can always let me know. I'm right here for you. Angelica says it is a great book. I'm so glad you think so. Thank you so much. Man Woodbury says, that sounds like that hat book I used earlier. It was written well, but way too many words and phrases. Yeah. I think that some crochet pattern resources, like if you are going to open yourself up to crochet help sessions, you really have to have the knowledge and skill and ability to be able to maybe decipher something that is a basic crochet term or standard or format, and really help people through. Because some people may just come in and go, I don't understand this repeat. And it's like a complex intermediate level repeat, and it's using asterisks and parentheses and brackets. So, I mean, really, how do you simplify that so that you can read and follow and execute, and you can show your student how to do that? So sometimes it's just as simple as that. And sometimes, I mean, you've got to have the knowledge and skill and ability to determine, like, do we just need to understand the format here? Or is this pattern just written in such a complex way that, like, it's okay to say to the student, like, look, can we do this together? If you really want help with this, a crochet help session is not the best. Like, there are 5 people in line behind you. Like, I'm only giving so much time per student, especially since there's so many people here today. If you would like to do this pattern and you are set on this pattern, then how about you schedule individual time with me? I will teach you we will get through this pattern together. And then that's how you can just, I mean, again, that's why crochet help sessions are such a gateway to other types of crochet commercial work. And really, that's a perfect example to where for my student, I swayed them away from making that particular scarf. But if they really wanted to make that particular scarf, I would have worked on that with them. But we would have had to redefine, like, hey, we're just going to meet individually. It's going to take me about an hour. Here's my hourly rate. Let's pick a day to kind of meet together. And I will help you with this scarf in particular. But really, it might mean me working it up in some way or deciphering it or, doing something to help you through this pattern. So it becomes kind of more of a one-on-one session. Stacy Till, thank you for listening to me, says, great story. Love it. Thank you so much. Stephanie says, hi, everyone. Becky says, hello to everyone. Becky says, not sure what to knock out. Not sure what to knock out what, and in order to get my certifications with ACA. Yeah, it just depends on what you want to accomplish, Becky. There are quite a few different things that we offer at the American Crochet Association. And / I will share with you. If you just go to our site and you click on courses, so americancrochetassociation.blog/ my internet is super slow and not cooperating right now. But we really only have so many courses, and a lot of the courses are huge and they just have a ton of information. So I'm going to drop you this page so you can view all the courses we have right now. But Becky, if you're confused about what we offer and what you should take and in what order, it really depends on what you want to accomplish. So do you want to just build your skills? Here are skill building courses. I put them in step 1, 2, 3 order. So do you want to learn to crochet? That's step 1. Do you already know how to crochet and you want to build your skills? That's step 2. You already have skills and knowledge and ability, and you just want to learn more crochet stitches. That's step 3 right here. Within each one of these things, there are different patterns and resources and things like that. To kind of help. So there's a lot of information there. So sometimes whenever I share information, it's really just part of one course. Same thing right here with professional courses. We have just 3 professional courses with tons of information in each one of these. So after you go through everything in a particular course, that's how you unlock your certificate of completion. If you just want to build your crochet knowledge and skill, and you just want to learn as many things as possible to have a good foundation, we have the crochet membership that does come with the 12-course learning path. And every single one of those learning path courses that you go through, it unlocks its own certificate of completion. So I think it just depends on what you want to accomplish. So definitely check out our course page at the American Crochet Association on our site. And if you need help, if you have questions, if you're not quite sure, just send me an email. I'm so happy to help. So happy to help. Karen says, can this be online as well? I live in Southwest Louisiana and we do not have any crochet classes here. So I'm not really sure what you mean by that specifically, but I will say that everything available at the American Crochet Association is particularly geared for other crocheters to present this material in person. That's because we teach all of this information online, so there's a conflict of interest there if people take our information and present it online. That's not allowed. But if you are utilizing this information for in-person learning and in-person teaching, then that's exactly what these resources are for. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know. Yeah, Becky, if you have the crochet membership, then you've got the 12-course learning path, and you can go through that in any order that you want. And then we always have fun new things like crochet along challenges, like the Scarfie challenge that we did last year. If you want to learn Tunisian, we've got that there. So lots of little fun stitch and project challenges in that. So after you log in, just start with the yarn course in the 12-course learning path. All of the learning path courses are numbered 1 through 12, so you can go through them in that order if you're not sure where to start. And again, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, guys, I've gone through 4 different tips, and I've got 2 more kind of tips to share, so I'm going to move on to the next one. And the next one is something that I created that works so well that I wanted to share it. I've got a link for you guys to go and snag it in the video description. So I created this Crochet Help Sessions sign-up sheet. And the reason I created this is that you print this, or your local yarn shop prints it, wherever you're going, again, I'm speaking as though, you have a local yarn shop and you're presenting in that particular space. So no matter whatever your schedule is, right? You've got a schedule. You're not going to be meeting every day. Maybe you are. I'm definitely not. So I have this Crochet Help Sessions sheet next to the register of my local yarn shop. And the idea is that if you're interested in taking a crochet help session, maybe you're not on social media, or you are, whatnot. The point is that you've walked into this space. You're doing something in this space. Maybe you had no idea that crochet help sessions are a thing that you can participate in. So all you have to do is put your name and your email on this sign-up sheet. If you have a specific crochet question, you can post it here. And what I would like to do, what this is going to evolve into, is that everybody who signs up in between sessions, they're going to get notified of the next session because I have their email address. If they come in during a crochet help session, so this helps in 2 ways. It helps to be notified of the next help session, and I've got your contact information, so, we can kind of keep in touch. But this is also the tool that I'm going to use during each help session. So if my help session is today from 1 to 3, this is a blank sheet that I'm going to bring. And this is the order in which I help people. So this way I don't have to really kind of I'm not distracted by helping a particular person with their question. And I know exactly the order that everyone needs to be helped because of how they signed up on the sheet. Another thing that I like about this is that after the help session, after I've helped everyone, this is what I did yesterday. If you gave me your email address, and then either you noted or I noted what your question was, I'm going to email you to just reiterate maybe some additional resources or things like that. So maybe someone was really confused about, hey, what counts as a stitch or what doesn't? I have an article at the American Crochet Association that I'll share. Hey, you had questions about where to place your stitch marker. I know we talked about it, but here's a resource with a video. And that way you could really kind of, if in case you were confused or you wanted a refresher, here's exactly what I taught you. If someone wants to learn how to change colors in rows or in rounds, I can send them a video resource, something like that. So this Crochet Help Sessions sheet is something that anyone can use. I've posted the link down in the video description. You can just snag it on Canva. You may have to sign in and create a free account or not. I'm not really sure what that looks like because I am a Canva user. I've never paid them a dime. So what I'm trying to say is it's amazing as it is as a free resource. So even if you have to sign up, I think that that's a free thing. So this is something that you can save, print, download. You can even make a copy of this and change it if you want to in some way. But this as it is, this crochet help session with all of the details and features that I talked about is something you can download for free. Let's see who else is here. It looks like Ashley is here from the Dales, Oregon. Oh my gosh, I'm in Central Oregon and we have got some snow, my friend. We actually had a snow day the other day and half the town was shut down. So I don't know how you guys are doing, but I hope you're staying warm. Anna Woodbury says, ooh, that's a cool sheet. Yes, I created it from experience. This is something that is working for me. And again, it's working great in those 2 ways. So either keeping it at the register. I had a few people sign up. so they can become aware of future events. And then it also works during the event, just a way to kind of keep track of everyone. Okay, and the last tip that I have is about payment. And then I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this last resource right here. So the last tip that I have is about payment, because some of you guys may go, okay, well, this is something that I want to do and I want to do it professionally. So how does payment work for this? So I'm going to give you guys a few different avenues to at least start the conversation. Okay. So first and foremost, let's just, okay, I'm thinking this is going to work best in a local yarn shop, right? So you can present this idea of crochet help sessions in your local yarn shop. And, you can think about it in two ways. So the first way is if students are coming and they want this crochet help session, they can pay for the session, and they can either pay you or the shop directly, and you can come up with whatever fee you think is appropriate. So maybe it's, hey, come in and pay me $20 and, everybody gets 10 minutes or something like that. Again, I'm just throwing out nice round numbers. You can do whatever is going to work best for you and for the local area that you're part of. So either the student can pay directly for the service, and you can define what that service is, what it really looks like in this crochet help session. Or you can pitch this to the local yarn shop. The local yarn shop can pay you for your time. So maybe it's like, hey, I'll be here 3 hours every Sunday, and you just pay me X amount of dollars per hour, and you just pay me directly. But this service that I'm providing is free to the public. So anybody that comes in, they don't have to pay because the shop has paid you to be there. And the idea there is that, you are providing an education service to the community that the community doesn't have to pay for. So it gets them in the door while they're there. Maybe they buy yarn, maybe they sign up for another class, maybe they learn something, maybe they feel more comfortable in that space or that community. So those are the two different ways I think you can present the pay schedule for this particular kind of service. So I think it depends on you, what you're most interested in, what you want to do. But it also depends on wherever you're going to be working, whatever type of space you're working in, and what they're comfortable with as well. And if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, or suggestions, maybe there's something that's working really well for you, let me know in the comments, and I would absolutely love to hear. Okay, guys, so that's it. That's what I'm doing. These are the crochet help sessions that I'm doing in my local area. I've got 2 local yarn shops that I'm working with, so I'm just kind of pulling together all of my knowledge and skill and ability and experience, and I'm sharing this because I think that it's working really well for me and really well for my community to just infuse crochet into the community. Now, I know that I'm just a bit different than most other people, particularly people who go through our Crochet Instructor Training course, in that I am not particularly interested in giving individual crochet lessons or in teaching group workshops. I think I'm going to do that a little bit, but it's not something that I'm incorporating into my schedule. So the thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get people to sign up for crochet lessons and workshops that are already available in our local yarn shops, because I have helped certain individuals in our community go through the programs that I've already presented. So that's where my experience and what I'm doing is just a little bit different. And that way, when somebody comes to my crochet help session, they're like, oh, my friend wants to learn crochet. Great. Sign up in the local yarn shop. Or, hey, we should have a crochet, we should learn a thing or do a thing. Great. Sign up in the local yarn shop. So I'm really just kind of passing along information so that other teachers in the area can have that business. So that's specifically what I'm doing. But if you were in my shoes and hold on, let me rephrase that. But I know that this is very specific to my area for who I am with the American Crochet Association. So if you are the person who teaches and you want to give private lessons, you want to teach workshops, then these crochet help sessions are an excellent way to just get your face and your skill and your ability in your own area. So definitely keep me posted. And let's, just share what works well for everyone. Or if everyone shares what works well for them, then I think that the likelihood of crochet just being, a more prevalent source in our communities is going to be greater. So that's what this is about. All right, everybody, again, everything that I shared, everything that I talked about is in the video description, including links to our Crochet Instructor Training program. I'm calling it the Crochet Teacher's Toolkit. I've got it listed, the value, what it includes, everything that you're going to learn, everything that you're going to do, everything that you're going to get. So I definitely have this posted in the video description. This is everything that I know and have about teaching crochet. So if you want to be a crochet instructor and you just want the patterns, you want the resources, you want the syllabus, you want the know-how, you want every single thing that I have to offer about teaching crochet, again, including the patterns, then this particular course is for you. It is just jam-packed with information, and you do get a certificate of completion as soon as you complete it. If you guys have any questions, I'm always just an email away, and I love sharing information like this so that you can just really assure that you're just learning and growing as a crochet teacher. Whew. All right. And again, don't forget to snag this Crochet Help Sessions sheet. Crochet Help Sessions sheet. It should be a free download, and you can get the link in the video description. All right. Stacy Till says, these are some really great tips you've shared today. Thank you. My pleasure. All right. Shout out to everybody else who was here watching live, like Amanda Woodbury and Ashley and Becky. Becky, let me know if you have any questions. If you don't know where to start with the yarn course. That is the most fantasticest to start in the crochet learning path. Thanks to Sophie. Thanks to Angelica. Thanks to Deborah. Who else joined here live? Dawn Tennyson, stay warm, my friend, and Kim Shaw. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here and listening to my little crochet chat. I hope you found some of this information useful. And again, questions, comments, feedback, let me know. Let's make this a conversation. Peace, love, crochet, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.